Jules here from Joolsedesigns and JT Creations. So this is another in the series of crafting on a budget. And if you haven't got the fancy dancy things that, you know, you're just starting off, we're going to have a go at making some, well, it's like Versamark. It's an embossing ink pad. So normally you would get Versamark or embossing stamp pad, and it's like a glycerine. So I've got some of this foam stamping stuff. So it's foam on there, and it's quite like a close, thick. I think it's what they use in the embossing pads. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some glycerine. Now, I've only seen this done. I've never done this myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece. It cuts easy. Let me see if I can find the packaging for it. Right, because I threw it away. Right, so it's cut and dry stamp pad foam. And it's for design your own rainbow or custom colour stamps. So it is for making stamps. Great for distressing photographs, photos and ephemera, so you can cut bits off, which I have. And I use it as a, you know, dip it into my ink and rub round. It's quite good. And you can keep your foam pads big or cut them down to any size. It does come with instructions, however, you know me, I'm not using instructions, so that's that. And I'm just going to turn this round like that. I'm just making sure that we've got enough light, and I've just moved my craft room round a little bit, and I'm just cutting a tiny little piece. Will that fit in there? Yeah, it's just so that I've got somewhere to put it. You can put it in a polythene bag or whatever. So what I've got is I've got some glycerine. It's for skincare and food preparation. I think you get it at the chemist. This expired in July 2022, so I can't use it on food. Not that I do. And what I'm doing is I'm just... If you've ever inked a... Ooh, I think I've used a bit too much. If you've ever inked a stamp pad up, this is probably how you'll do it. Now, I think I've used a bit too much, so I think we'll put a bit back in there. So as you can see, it sits on top. We can always put more on. And all I'm doing is I'm just working that into the foam. And it's handy just to have if you've got a bottle of glycerine, because you can use it for making faux leather. I do have a video on making faux leather, and you just mix it with water and put it onto your craft card. And yep, and I can see, so there's probably a little bit too much on there, but I'm just going to work it in a bit. Okay, now what we want is we want some paper, and we shall use Now this is the paper that we practiced the stamps on, and I am going to use these stamps because I want to carry on using them, and we did that with the rolly one. So what I'll do is I'll use some spare bits of this. Now, we'll get these down again. And I've got them here. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking for some ones that I haven't used. So we'll use this nice little key. So what I'm doing is I'm just dipping that in the foam pad. Yeah, and it has done it. And then I'm just pressing it on there. No, I don't know whether that's, yes, it has. You can usually see because it's it glistens. Now I'm just going to use some we'll use some of this speckled egg. Now this is embossing powder. Now you can use chalks. I am going to do several different ways of using embossing inks. And then just tap that onto the piece of paper. And we'll put a bit more on there. And we'll put a bit more on there. Now these are distress inks. And always remember to put your powder. If you're not quite confident at aiming the gun, the heat gun, just put your powder back in. Now I will go quiet while I put this heat gun on. And I've got it mixed up with my hot glue gun wire. Right, okay. So, and I'll try and hold it so you can see it. Right, so you can see, probably not done that enough. I'll give it another little blast. There you are. So I don't know whether you can see it, yeah, but that's permanent. I am going to use some clean paper. And we will use a different embossing powder just so that you can get a better look. We'll use some of this one. This is blue glass. Again, it's probably a transparent one. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll, yeah, okay, so I think maybe you need to keep the glycerine on the top. Oh, that's making a muck of my stamp pad. Right, okay. I'm looking for a clean one. Right, we've got a heart here. And I'm going to try and get that that off. I'm going to put a little bit more glycerine because I think that one's soaked in. So yeah, maybe you do need quite a bit of glycerine. I mean, I'm just doing this with you. So there, I've got a dot about the size of a 5p, or is it a cent in the US and Europe. The little tiny copper coins. And it says bring your stamp to the ink pad, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, it's just a little bit too much, so we'll put the heart here. And if you have, if you have spare stamp blocks that you're not using, I mean, some people have loads, or somebody that can sort of like that works with acrylic blocks and that, and can give you the cut-off so well and good. Now, because I've had glycerine on my fingers, I've got it on the paper, so you have to watch what you're doing. So I'm just going to tap that. I've tapped too much. And again, put your embossing powder, and then we'll heat it up. Just waiting for the heat gun. And there we are. So now what I'll try it with is I'll try it with a normal stamp. Just drop. Right, we'll try the mushrooms. And we'll try these, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a stamp block out. And put mushrooms on there. And I'm just going to we'll try a bit here, and again just press it on like you would normally with ink, and there we have it. And this again is Distress ink. It's the Ranger, I think it's Vintage Photo. I'm just brushing this away, and that's the edge of the leaf. And there we have it. So yeah, so if you run out of your embossing pad, you can always use glycerine. If you don't have one, you can buy some glycerine from the chemist. And there we have it. So that's more of a delicate one. We'll try some a stamp with a little bit more detail, and we'll use a clean piece of paper for that. Right, I'm just getting my scrap papers out. Right, so what we'll do is we'll do some on black, and I'll get some iridescent. And then you can see it better on black. So I'm just tapping it, slightly rubbing it. And then stamp it. Not pressing too hard. And there you can see. And we'll try a bit of this. This is Blonde Moments Fresh Mango Iridescent. Just tipping that back in. Our lid on, and we'll heat this. And there you can see, because that always looks nice on black card. So it does get the top one. You can't see the sort of like the little lines underneath the mushroom, but I think it's because I've probably got now too much glycerine on the stamp pad. So we'll put that one away, and we'll try see if I can get one with words. All right, we'll try this one. And again, I'll try that way. Yep, you can see, and again we'll go for the blonde moments. And I'm just tipping it back in. Now there you can see that I've so all I'm doing is I'm just the point of the brush and you can get special little talc bags. I've misplaced mine, so I've actually got talcum powder in a tea bag. So again we'll do this. And there we are. So you can see most of the detail. So what we'll do here, now these talc bags, what they do is static picks up on embossing powder, and because I've got my fingers are soaked with glycerine, it's sticking all over. So I'm going to re-stamp this, not pressing too hard. There we are. Yep. Yeah, best to work with a piece of paper underneath, and then you don't get all this. And that looks as though it's yep. So there's more detail in that one when I've used the talc bag. Just going to pause a minute because I'm going to go and get some more. So that's me, I'm back. So I've got some card. I've got some chalks. Now these are crafting chalks that were fashionable way back in the 90s, I think, early 2000s. And we used to use the embossing stamps with them all the time. Belongs to that. All right. So I'm going to do a flourish on this one. And when you're using this kind of, even with embossing inks, if your stamps are, make sure your stamps are clean. If your stamps are a bit dirty, it will come off. And I'm just stamping that down. See there, my stamp's been a little bit dirty. And what I'm going for is I'm going for some cotton wool. You can buy the little balls of cotton wool, and I have got one of those like little pincer tools somewhere. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking a little bit and just dabbing it on in a different colour, and dabbing it on, and again a different colour. I'm just using all the different shades of pink. And this was another way of using embossing. Now I do have a video coming up where you can use eyeshadow, old eyeshadows, so if you get your old eyeshadows ready for the next video. And we'll also be making mica powders with them as well. So we've got that one, and we'll put that one there, and I think we'll do a little bit of this is a bit of text, and again I'm just and then just lightly stamp. Now this does, I have used this with black ink, so it might transfer onto the card. I'm just showing you. No, it's not done too bad. And what I want is, I want this one in a brown. Now this is illegible text, even when you stamp it you can't read it. Well, I can't. So there, so you can make a little vintage ephemera and things like that, and then just turn it over and just gently wipe it off. And then we'll put this one back on. Now I've not rubbed that, I've just patted it on, and I'm going to do this on this side, and there's still plenty of, so we'll do with a light one. No, we won't. Try this one. And then just gently brush that off. You can rub it in. And if you want, you can, you know, like what you do with the inks, you can, this was the first kind of stressing around the edges was chalk. Before we started doing it with inks. And there we are. We'll just rub that in a little bit more. And then once they, you can sort of like rub it in quite a bit. So there we are for making sort of like your shabby chic ephemera, vintage ephemera. You can use your chalks and glycerines. So it's another type of medium. Also, if you don't have, you know, if you don't have the proper embossing ink pads and that, but you've got embossing powders, you can use it for embossing, as you can see there. So I hope you get something out of this, and I hope you'll have a try, and I hope to see you in the next video when we'll be working with the stamps that we've made, the embossing ink pad, and some eyeshadows and other bits and pieces that we find around the house. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye.